Hey, this is the formerly looking for a GM games now thing, but looking for a GM is currently out of commission. So this is just a game group, our Friday night game group playing Apocalypse World, set in Junk World, setting that I co-developed with a bunch of players over Play by Post. That I kind of scooped out too many of the details, so there isn't necessarily canon per se, so we could build up our own. And boy, have we! Because we're in places that never existed in Junk World before, like an oasis underground. Hello, cool stuff. So let's do a quick round of reintroduction of characters because it's been a few weeks, and then we will jump straight in. And for those who've listened to the most recent, as of this time that we're playing, episode of Plus One Forward, you might know there's a custom move coming your way that Jen Kitzman and Rach made me and helped me and handheld me through making, as I kept saying, but I'm scared. So we will push forward with that sucker. Let's start with Pam. Pam, remind us, who are you playing?
My character's name is Hound. She is a driver, and her role is basically as the transporter, if you want to think of her that way. She has an awesome, amazing Junk World style vehicle that's called Gobstopper, because it's everlasting. And it is a much renovated Greyhound bus that hovers. I'm watching John catch the occasional mosquito. It is kind of like a mix between the truck that Furiosa drove in Mad Max Fury Road and the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix trilogy. So it's a behemoth that hovers. Doesn't hover too far, but it hovers. And that is the reason why I describe it so much, is that as a driver, her vehicle is as much a part of her as anything. And it has a very retro style that is based on advertisements that were popular when the Greyhound bus that she has cobbled her lifestyle around was built, before it was built. And she really cares more about her car than just about anybody. Her vehicle.
Yes, that is definitely a driverly thing. Yes. Thank you very much, Pam. Next, Mark, remind us, who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Mark. Tonight I'll be playing Greg, my news character. She believes very much in the truth and in sin and in ways to be cleansed of sin. She's glad to be back in town, where her tower, a former spaceship, resides, and she's looking for a new live performer, I believe. And she's hot and weird and sharp, but not very cool and not very hard. And violence of all sorts are pretty much an anathema to her, so she is somehow uniquely unprepared to be in this world and yet somehow surviving. So that's Greg.
Thank you, Mark. John, tell us about your character.
Hello, I'm John, and tonight I will be in the role of Rollo, the water bearer. Born and raised in the Oasis, and picked from an early age to be the disciple of the last water bearer. And so he has spent his life serving the oasis, exploring the mysteries in the caves and trailing through the water sources. And eventually he won the position by doing some stuff out in the world and passing some mystical stuff. When he's out in the world, that's when he encountered Hound. Last water bearer passed away not too long ago, and Hound is now, or rather, Rolo is now the guy in charge, trying to lead the Oasis towards the future and towards a green world. But shh, that's a secret.
I could totally be the guy in charge, just want to say.
If you want it.
By the way, I should mention, for those who are tuning in for the first time, John is my husband, and he and I are in the same room, so you're going to see him when I am speaking because I'm using his microphone.
The power of projection.
And you might also hear our dog in the background.
Yes, thanks for that clarity, because we do, and it's hilarious.
She's going to town on that column. Yeah.
Jason, remind us who you're playing, please.
I am playing Sunset the Battle Babe. Sunset is kind of a wandering warrior / minstrel. She collects and sings oral histories with the idea that eventually a ship will come and rescue them all, and when they do, there needs to be a sense of history. So she thinks that she is maintaining hope. And a big part of that is continuing to eat, which is part of where the warrior stuff comes in, and not dying, which is part of where stabbing other people comes in. She is also Hound's sister, but that's not really widely known, and you wouldn't really be too aware of it because of how they talk to each other. They're a little rough, just a tad. And the last session, she got stabbed pretty good saving one of the water bearer's people, but did a number on the stupid Wendy's. So that's her.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. All right, we got a little bit of bookkeeping type stuff. Does anyone want new highlights?
I do.
Okay, cool. One person wants it. Everybody gets it. Please, Greg, look on your character sheet and see who you have the highest HX with. You've got a choice between Rolo and Hound.
Rolo, please.
John, highlight one of Greg's stats, please.
Cool.
Oh man, I'll be nice and go hot. Though we have a mix of cool and hot. You're like icy hot, but different.
Oh, I thought you were saying cool because you were like, yay, something to do.
Cool is a horrible one for you. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
It's all right.
Because that's what I normally say when I'm not really like, yeah, cool. All right.
Rolo.
My brain thought that was going to be the social one, but that's totally not. It's the opposite of social in this.
Well, I got the hot. So Rolo, looks like Greg would highlight you. So Greg.
Well, quid pro quo, right? Weird, please.
Ooh, nice. And I'll go with cool for you because you have a few stats that key off of cool. And we have yet to see you step into the flow, and I'm very interested in that move. That is a neat thing. Cool. Sorry. Now you have me conscious and cognizant of how much I use the word cool. Sunset.
That's going to be Rolo.
At a 0.
Okay.
Because everyone said I could trust them.
So it is cool is your thing. So cool it is. I like seeing you be cool.
Sharp for you, please, Sunset. We'll see you read some people and all that good stuff. And last but not least, we have Hound. You got a choice between Rolo and a Grig.
I can use my mic, honey. If you want.
No, I was just turning it off because of trying to slap that damn little fly thing.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Greg because, damn, Lola.
I would like to see you be hot.
I would like to see me be hot too. Right now,
Nice.
I would say.
Okay, and I think we'll have you be sharp as well. Hey, as I look at your character sheet, Hound, looks like you are due for an improvement. You got 5 XP there.
Damn. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Except I'm not as excited as I was because I can't use one of my improvements to up my heart.
Why not?
It's cool, hot, sharp, weird. That's just the way that it's built for
It's built from
the driver.
That sucks.
Well, you know, when you get to the advanced, then you can add a +1 to any stat. So you just need to get a bunch more advancements. Whoops. Awesome. Cool. Because you guys are in Oasis, and because not much time has passed, I am not going to ask for a re-up on lifestyles. Is everybody okay with that, or someone feel like we really should hit that again? We just did it like middle of last session, and I feel like Oasis is a plentiful place, and that's so I'm not going to push it unless someone thinks that that makes sense or feels right to them.
No, I feel like we literally just paid for it. So
Yes, you did. Cool.
One thing, I think I had a rolled a move where I got some hold last session. But I forgot to write it down.
Okay.
I
would
think
that
it was Rolo.
Yes, I'm supposed to get experience as soon as I let you into the. I believe that's what it was. You used a thing. If I take your suggestion, and what you wanted was to be able to go into the Oasis.
Okay, and I think I still have 2 more hold over you, so I'm going to write that down.
okay.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, as we ended the last session, the positions, as I remember very strongly that Grig was going over to, she was up top, the top side, going to the tanks to speak to KRS, the possible live performer, and Zero had headed over to meet up with Grig and said pretty forward, in a very forward manner, I was going to stay with you instead of the candy, indicating she wasn't staying with the candy bars that night. And then Rolo had had a conversation with Butternut, who explained that there were problems down in Oasis, that the washerwomen were effectively on strike, and he had no idea. He just threw up his hands and said, because they're lazy or something, I don't know. And that had been going on for almost the whole time he'd been gone, 3 days, so maybe a little bit less. Sunset, where is it that we left you? Where should we find you, even more important?
All right. So a couple things where we left off, I had a conversation with whichever of the branded I had saved. I can't remember which one it was. And they were going to give me jingle for having done so. The other thing is I know Rolo had arranged for there to be healing which I was keen to have, because you don't heal without healing. So
That's true.
so that would be good. Yeah. Failing that, I know that there's another performer in town, which means that I want to know what songs that they have. So one
Okay.
of those two.
So if we want to handle healing in topside, that means that you would be dealing with Curly Whirly, correct? Yeah, the healer at the source. And then the other option is that Rolo could lead a ceremony. He would need to do that. Well, I imagine you could do it other places, but it probably works best down in the Oasis. So which of those two are you providing to Sunset? We'll kind of pull in Rolo at this point.
Well, I believe that they were, I don't know, they were all wanting, nobody was seeming to want to go into the Oasis. So maybe they're all up at MREs or something. I don't know. If they're because Greg went up, I think Greg's hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
No?
I don't have anything on my sheet.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you hid in the bus. I don't think you actually took much harm.
But
I think you're okay.
So yeah, everybody went away from the Oasis. So and then I had other things going on. So I would have brought up Curly Whirly, but once everybody wants to go down, I will be doing that stuff too.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to going down as long as you don't make me get a tattoo. That's cool.
Oh yeah, back of your neck though. It's under your hair. You're fine.
No.
No? You don't want to be branded?
Serve the music, not the source.
Aw. Okay.
No brands are required.
Curly Whirly will come up. I don't know if you can see the pic of her, but she has bright red hair, which is obviously dyed because her roots are starting to show, and her hair is big. It is not a wig. It is just naturally wavy and curly and kind of an unruly mess. She wears thick glasses when she has to peer, and it's the kind of glasses that like break in the middle kind of thing. And she will come up. She's slight of build, and is, even though she's a doctor, she doesn't normally like lift her patients or anything like that. Where does she find you, Sunset, when she comes to try to help you heal up?
I think that she's probably going to find Sunset. Hold up. Let me look at the map real quick here.
Okay. Well, there's so many.
We got this map.
Stuff. It's true.
So I think this is probably in front of Pop-Tart's pit stop. And Sunset's just going to be basically busking there. Because she's waiting for her, and so she's just singing her songs and playing her guitar.
Nice. So we pick up. You can hear the sound of Pop-Tart's pit stop as they're doing some repairs on the vehicles for the candy bars, as well as basically everything that made it through that big mess with the Wendy's outside. Of course, Upper 10's van was slagged, so they'll probably drag that in and try to rebuild it, but he's a little SOL right now. And before long, Curly Whirly comes over. She wears mostly white, although it's obvious that, first of all, it's got old. It's like a pink, like it was once white, but there are obvious pink stains upon it from the many amounts of blood that she's had washed off. And also you see that it is not entirely clean, that it is yellowed around the pits, and yeah, so she comes over. She's got a bag where she carries all of her stuff. It's like canvas bag, like a grocery bag where you don't use plastic bags type deal. And one of the straps is actually not original, and it's kind of been stapled and glued on. She comes over and says, "Oh, you were part of the big. Oh, it's still smoking. That looks terrible. How are we going to get out? You were with that. You were."
So I think what Sunset does is she doesn't actually answer the question. She holds a finger up to Curly Whirly's lips and then sings at her. She goes, "Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. Juice of soft gets right to ya. Juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya." And I would like to roll with Artful and Gracious.
Ooh, you should do that thing.
I am gonna do that thing. Sadly, no one marked hot, but I wanted to use my new move.
But you do get your move, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's what I like.
Oh my. Okay, on a 10 plus, you spend 3. You're busking, so you're in front of the pit stop, so there are other people who are around and witnesses. Pop-Tart, of course, would be around, as would several of Pop-Tart's people. And then there's Curly Whirly, and hey, maybe Grig overhears it on her way to the tanks. So there's another possibility.
Sure. So normally this move works that I can name one NPC member. I can't split it up between them, right?
So no, I've actually.
It says spend one to name an NPC member. I guess you could split it up, but the wording's a little funny. Spend one to name an NPC member of your audience and choose one. So yeah, I can spend the 3 hold differently. Oh, well, that's lovely. Okay, so I'm going to say Curly Whirly loves me. I'm going to say that Pit Stop must give me a gift. And I can't actually use this on a PC. So I tell you what, what's that?
Is it that like the move says you can't, or is it like you need a volunteer?
The move says it's NPCs.
Oh, okay.
And I'll also say that Pit Stop must have my services because needs me my barter, my jingles.
Okay, so Pit Stop owes you a gift and needs services. Awesome, got it. You put your finger over her lips and she doesn't talk, and you see this, like she's talkative and a little scattered, but everything seems to relax. And she listens, and then she kind of leans in and she smiles. You look hurt. Let me help you.
So Sunset nods and set the guitar down. Knife within reach, as always.
So you get to roll for her. She is going to spend 2 stock to attempt to speed your recovery. Although technically, to speed the recovery of someone at 3 or 6, you don't roll. You spend stock and spend some days or a week blissed out on chill stats, but we're going to do the roll.
I accidentally just pressed the D6 instead of putting everything in.
D6 plus 2, please.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, I'm glad there's the plus 2.
All right. Did a plus 1. You're really not good with rolling dice. It's okay.
Apparently not, but it would have been 7 to 9 anyway.
That's true. That is true. Okay, on a 7 to 9. Good. So I'm gonna let you choose whichever of these you want.
All right.
It's just from the stabilize and heal someone at 9 or pass, which isn't exactly true. But I just think it's fun. So, and this is an NPC, so I can fudge it.
Are you looking at an angel here?
Angel kit. I just dropped it in the chat in our Hangout window.
Well, that makes my life easier.
Except all the theys are, boxes.
Yeah, I can work it out.
Because InDesign. They fight you and you have to narco stab them. So either you fought her and she had to narco stab you, the pain and drugs made you babble the truth to you. You respond very well to the treatment and she spends less stock. You are at her complete mercy. Or perhaps she learned something about her craft from healing you, or you owe her for her time, attention, and supplies.
Well, Sunset always tells the truth anyway, but normally she's not much of a babbler. So let's go with the pain and drugs make them babble the truth to you. So
fun. So she guides you over to a chair and starts stitching at the wounds. And there's a moment where you a little bit of pain. You're normally pretty tough, but it's more than enough for Curly to narco stab you. She doesn't ask; she just does it, and it's like a little it's a syringe that you can stab, like you can literally stab it, and it's got a little piston action to it. It's like an EpiPen except with narcotics in it. And what is it that you babble to Curly Whirly and somewhat near Pit Stop, who is of course coming over to make sure you have some food and take care of you?
That's weird because I'm on both sides of the move there because I'm asking myself what I spill and then spill.
I know, yeah. So you babble unto her. I'll give you a cue. It's what if you tell her a bit about the latest song that you have found and how you found it?
All right.
Are you good now, or you want me to cut away and come back to you?
Oh, I can roll with it now.
Okay.
Also, it would be neat if more people knew about you and your sister if you wanted to reveal that. So.
No, that's it. That's immediately where I'm going anyway.
Okay.
Okay. So a lot of people don't know, but Hound is my sister. And we were growing up, the cover of our bus was this angels. They're beautiful people. That's where we got names. And Sunset Boulevard. That's what the boulevard means. And Hound, there was beautiful man. He was talking about you ain't nothing but a hound dog. She's very independent. But we could never hear. Sometimes that's why I think she left. Sometimes I think it's because I didn't do it. Mostly I think it's because she's a bitch. But she left. And so I've always looked for that song. And I just found it. It wasn't a good recording, but it was enough. She hasn't heard it yet, though. Shh. I'm not going to play it if she keeps being a bitch, though.
That's mean. You look all that time and just because now? And, oh, but still, it's your song. It's,
Well, it's really everybody's song. Guess I was being a jerk about
you
it.
don't look at all the same.
They don't gotta be the same to be sisters. That's just truth.
Hmm.
I'm a nap.
Okay.
Okay.
And she yells at somebody to bring like some kind of pad or something so you can lean back up against a corrugated metal wall. And it's junk world, so it's super hot because we've established there are two suns. She's not going to put a blanket over you, but she'll make sure you're in the shade. So let's pick up with our driver. Hound.
I really don't want to talk about it.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah, that'll work better.
Sorry. It's just stupid echo. It's not going to allow you guys to have your own mics. It's a bummer.
At some point, I need to play in another room. It's just comfy here, so. Plus, dog.
Both of those reasons are valid.
So, apparently, I need a new sister.
Oh, well, you don't know that. She looks like she's talking and looking back at you, talking to and there's this look of wonder on Curly Whirly's face. Obviously, she's complimenting you. That's what it seems like, because Curly Whirly seems very happy to hear whatever she's talking about.
She okay?
So imagine that. Do you trust Pop-Tart to fix Gobstopper? Is this a thing you're working on yourself?
Some of those.
Okay, so both. So you're not far. You heard her busking for a bit, singing, and she's saying this Juicy Fruit song, and you saw the effect it had on Curly Whirly, and then Curly Whirly stabs her, but it's with a narco stab and heals her up. And, just to close that off, you are now healed to 0. You are good to go. So yeah, as you're working on stuff, that kid, the weird little kid, Ludens, he comes over, and then he gets up on top of like a little step ladder, so he's about your height.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he is a weird little kid. I've forgotten about him.
Yes, look at see the picture. That is Ludens. He's got these like dark coal black goggles. No sun getting in there. Nope. And you've seen it when he removes it, and he literally has that like pure white skin, and then everything else is this deep tan because he wears that thing except at night. So, like he has a little bit of sun blindness, so he needs the goggles. He says, "We need a new vehicle because that one's broken."
The van?
Mm-hmm. Now pretends mad. He looks around at the outside, like the wall, which has all these vehicles are kind of lined up, and says, "Is there any scrap? Any vehicles I can build? Or should I just go get the van and try to work on it?"
Well, Yes, I think you probably have the material to start building. I mean, let's face it, little dude. The van is messed up.
Yeah.
To be the first person to admit, in part, it's my fault.
Oh.
So let's see what we can cobble together to make something work. Yes, no?
Well, we could, but also, but maybe
But maybe.
there is another van at Sector 10.
Yeah. One that's running?
It's as good as that one. Just doesn't have as many seats. And Upper wanted to bring his wives. But now we could get that van. I like that van better.
Yeah. It would be better than having to try to build one.
Yeah.
So you want to go get it
Mm-hmm.
now? I need
He
to
shrugs. He shrugs like, I don't get people's permission to do things. I just go and do stuff. But do you need to stay?
I need to finish fixing Dobby.
I can help.
Oh, pal.
Hand you tools. Follow wires and lines. Clean things.
No.
I can't drive the van, though. Do you know someone? What about the girl with one leg? Will she go? I guess.
Sure. I mean, she's a good driver. I don't know if she's feeling up to it.
I can get you Jingle if you'll go, and maybe you bring her and you get Jingle.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that last little part?
I give you Jingle if you go. Give you more Jingle, you get her to go and drive.
I thought I heard music. Yeah. Let's do
That's
it.
her. Oh, she's passed out now. She was singing.
Yeah, she was. Thank God she passed out. I don't really mean that. She's a good singer.
So Sector, we drive to Sector after Gabi is ready.
Yeah, we could do that. We might want to bring some firepower along, though, just in case there are some Wendy's floating around out there.
Choir power? So you're singing? The singing girl?
Well, she's choir power and fire power.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it would be a good idea if we as a group went. For safety resources. Plus, we can see what else we might be able to get.
Upper says he's staying a while. We have time. Upper says he's going to stay here a long time.
Oh, that's what Upper says, is it?
That's why he wanted his wives and me.
Are you one of his wives?
No, I fixed the cars.
And you're one of his wives.
I don't fix his wives.
Excuse me. So, why don't you see if you can help Pop Tart over there? Since Pop Tart's working on fixing the windshield.
Oh. He nods vigorously, and then he hops off of his stepladder and folds it up, and he carries it over to start talking to Pop-Tart about trying to work on the windshield. What do you do?
I have to go find Lolo. I'm not, yeah. I need to go find Lolo.
Cool. So let's pick up with you and Rolo. So Rolo, you got your report from Butternut. Upper 10 is really eager to go through, whatever rigmarole you got going on here was like, the crazy forms and like need me to sign some forms in triplicate. I'm good with that. I'm thinking, been working on my John Hancock, as it were, so what do we need to do to get down in Oasis? Because up here, it's just like everywhere else. It's like Sector 10, except a little less secure. But down there, that's what I'm here for. So what do you think, Rolo? What do we need to do to make this happen?
Well, what we need to do is for you to take the Pilgrim's Passage. And
okay.
Be happy to show you to where that begins.
Okay. All right. It's Pilgrim's Passage. It sounds good. Let's go. So he looks over and he calls upon one of his guys and a couple of his guys, and they come. And then Clark from the Candy Bar Gang, she comes up, just walks up and says, "Hey, we're going on the Pilgrim's Passage too. Everybody except Zero."
Now, you suggest that there's more of the candy bars than the named members?
Yeah, there's like a dozen of them. Like they're a gang. They're a small gang. There's like up to 15. We'll just say there's like a dozen right now.
So, and they're saying, so that'd be 11 of them except for one?
Yeah, there'd be 11 of them. They're saying there's 11 of us all coming. It's like Abba Zaba and Goo Goo, Payday, Violet Crumble, all those girls. Sweet Marie.
Well, you know the rules. And I'll take them to the Pilgrim's Passage, which is long and arduous, and it used to be how you had to get into the Oasis. But now it's just for pilgrims.
Okay, cool. Do you want to whip out your special move there for?
Well, actually, I don't have to do that now, but I can do it now. Because they're going to have to go through this long thing. I'm not going to go with them.
Well, would you allow them to take weapons to the Pilgrim's Passage, or would you?
Sure, no, because all it does is go where I'm going to go down just a few steps, and then
so you just make them do the long way. Okay, cool. All right, so
that's before we had the lift, but I don't let normal people take the lift. So
okay, cool. All right, so yeah, they'll take off, and this will be Upper 10 and his handful of men, and the Candies -0 will all head and start going down the arduous path of the Pilgrim's Pathway. And once they take off, that's when Ludens, the little kid, and not Ludens, because Ludens is over there talking to Pop-Tart and working on the windshield. So this is when Hound will catch up with you.
Okay. She can catch up to me at the water house. Like I'm going. It's an easy place to find me.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, the water house is up top. So yeah, it's the place where you take the lift down. Yeah.
Yeah. And even I don't normally take the elevator. That's for carrying stuff. So it's going to be stairs going down.
Okay. But a heck of a lot better than like some kind of dugout, long,
yeah, where it's the
dwarven tunnel kind of thing.
The nightmare of like, shimmying over crazy things, squeezing through things, taking off backpacks, putting them back on, the whole 9 yards. It's
Nice.
not fun.
That sounds convenient.
Yeah.
Yo, 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 Rolo, Rolo.
Yo, 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 yo. Hound. Is your sister rubbing off on you?
That's disgusting. I think I might throw up. Okay. But for real, you and I need to talk.
Well, walk with me.
In there.
Can you not walk downstairs?
I can walk downstairs. You see me to walk downstairs plenty of times, but it's dark.
There's lights. I need to go talk to washerwomen. You can walk with me and talk with me while I head down to take care of a soap revolution. I don't know what's going on. So whether or not she's going to follow, I got to deal with things. So it's bing, bing, bing. Start revolution. Down the stairs. I start heading.
A soap revolution? Your soap is revolting?
The washerwomen are not washing. Who knows? Could be anything. Maybe
Butternut says we're revolting because they're not washing anything.
Exactly. Maybe they all are wanting to be moved from their duty down to the dirt farm, which is dirt farm. Lots of fun. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, have you seen our Palsy Wowsy Upper 10?
Boy, yes. Also going down these stairs, I will be going down so I can meet him at the bottom of the Pilgrim's Passage.
What's he doing down there?
He is on his way to Inner Oasis.
Okay. All right. So, okay. I was just talking to short little weird dude bro.
Lupus? Lucas? Ludens. Yeah, the guy with the goggles.
The guy with the goggles. The little guy with the goggles. Who apparently fixes Upper 10 wives. I didn't ask questions. I will reach out and put my hand on Lolo to sort of slow him down a little bit. Dude, for real, I think that Upper 10 might be making a move to take over this place.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Didn't I say that right to your face, like on the way here? I thought I did. Obviously.
Why do you talk to me when I'm driving? Why do you talk to me when I'm driving?
Okay, you're not driving. Yes, obviously he has.
So why are you letting him downstairs?
Because I agreed to foot the bill that way of getting you healed up and getting Gobstopper fixed up.
Okay, well now I feel like crap.
Well, there you go. It is what it is. Yeah. I know he has why wouldn't he have interest? The guy uses kids for slave labor. He's not a good guy.
No, and you're letting him into your holy of holies or whatever you call it.
I said that I would. If he passes the test when he comes down. So, yes. Part of going down is I'm going to be letting the rest of the branded know that we will have visitors that they will be personally escorting the entire time they're here. If you would like to earn back some of what you owe me now.
What?
What?
Have I charged you recently for transportation? I have not.
No, but you were feeling this massive amount of debt. It would lift your heart to be part of keeping all of this beauty that we're about to go down to sea safe.
All right. What do you want me to do?
Are you good in a fight? Why, yes, you are good in a fight. You're Hound. You're famous. You're badass, yes.
Okay. You know that I'm not Sunset, right?
I know. Sunset is much better at everything, but not driving. But every fist will count. I mean, they're not gonna. We're only letting in 11. We outnumber them titanically, so it shouldn't be an issue until the rest of his people arrive to take over the top side.
Yeah, which Goggle Boy talked to me about. Going.
But if he's downstairs, I mean, I don't want to count chickens before they're hatched.
We have chickens?
We do have chickens.
Are they hatched?
Some of them are hatched.
Did you count them?
We generally count them when they're hatched. That's how that works.
You can count eggs.
We do count eggs, which is chickens before they're hatched.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right.
Are you done dawdling? We can go down now. Yes.
I'm sorry for being a friend.
I appreciate that.
You don't, because you want me to pay my
Okay, how about this? I am asking you for help. Does that make you feel better? I will owe you a bath because you stink. So you should owe me twice because I'm removing the stench of your travels with the best bath that you could possibly ever have. I'm glad you see it my way. Let's go down, have some food.
Wait. I have a condition.
I have a doctor. I can take care of that too.
You're cute. You have to wash my back for me.
Watch or wash?
Yes.
Sure.
All right.
I think that gets us back down the lift or down the stairs.
Sure. Yeah. So the space opens up and you're treated to the beauty that is Oasis, more water than you've ever seen anywhere in all of Junk World. So much water that there are bridges to go over it from one spot to another. And you see that there are since the washerwomen aren't in their traditional place near one of the sets of docks, you see that there are, of course, the gardeners who are tending the areas where they grow lichen and moss, and then there are a few people that are on like those crazy stilts, and they're changing out some of the Christmas tree lighting that's used so people can see down here. A bunch of the folks will see that you've entered Rollo. They call out happily, very excited that you've come home. Kids running out to see the water bearer has returned. It's a big to do. You're kind of important. You're kind of a big deal, one might say.
Kinda. There's the waving, the greeting. Yay! I'm happy to be back. Hugging the kids. Letting the Brandon know to gather guys at the lift house because we are going to be having guests. I'll be talking to them, but I want to get them gathered up first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I would generally walking down to where I would find washerwomen, greeting everybody, dragging along Hound, and trying to find out where Licorice is.
So you're looking for Licorice. She is the daughter of Roma, who's the head of the washerwomen, and they're not in that area where normally they just kind of go wade out and they pull up the pant legs and they'll wade out to there's a shelf, right, and so you can kind of stand there and bend over and they'll wash clothes, and they even have like an area where they'll drop a little bit, and so the soap doesn't go out and pollute the rest of the water, right? And so they'll skim that soap off, and that's what they use for the next day, and that's what they do, and they just clean clothes and everything else, and it is empty of women. But if you head that way, you can find Licorice. They don't stay far away. They're just in their little huts. In fact, Roma is sitting in front. She's in it's one of, like, folding chairs where it's like the vinyl straps on the back, like this metal folding chairs, like beach chairs kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can I make it? Yeah, and it's like orange and white, right? And there's a belt that replaces one of the old straps, and she's seated there. She's kind of humped over. She's in her 60s. She's been here as long as you've been alive, and she's real skinny. She's got knobby fingers, like her knuckles are really big, and the fingers between are very, very thin. And she's always been kind of strong, but eventually the skin's just started to sag. And as you come over, she looks up at you. The washerwomen don't go above very much. They're very pale, even though a few of them are of like they're not Caucasian, but their skin is still pretty pale for the different ethnicities that they represent. She looks up. It's good to see you, Rolo. Maybe you can fix things.
I will bend down, get down on my knees in front of her, or on a knee, and take her hand and kiss it, like a rubber hand while I'm talking to her. What seems to be the problem, Roma?
Her hand is so cold. Like, it's as if blood doesn't flow as much as just trickle. And she smiles a toothy smile when you genuflect a little bit for her. And she frowns, looks past you at Butternut. You respect us. The others, like that big fat one, they do not. We need justice for Milda. And Milda is one of the women who was a washerwoman, and she's gone above the top side because she married Kodak. And I'll drop these names in real quick. So
Butternut respects you, and if he doesn't, well, I'll let him know why he should respect you. What justice does Milda require? She's happy with her being up above with Kodak, isn't she?
not anymore. She came down asking to come back to us.
When
She has
did this
bruises.
happen?
4 days ago. We spoke to Butternut. We spoke to Blackjack. We spoke to everyone. Milda is in trouble, and no one will listen. And so we will not work until, even though Milda is not one of us anymore because she went up to topside, she's still one of us in our heart.
Bruises?
Hmm.
Did she say where she got her bruises?
She would not say, but we know. Kodak. He drinks too much. He treats her badly. He needs to be killed.
Whoa.
Justice, perhaps. Let's not go all the way to the killing before we know what's going on. I will go talk with Milda personally. You need to warm up your hands. Why? You need to go down to the washerwoman in the hot ponds. Look at your hands. They're frozen.
They work. She takes her hands back. You've made her a little self-conscious about it. And she rubs them together a little bit. You can kind of see the knuckles roll over each other. Make sure that Milda gets justice, and we will return to our work.
Of course. Of course. And give her another little pat on the hand before I get up and then slug Butternut in the arm. You're doing not respecting the washerwoman. Grab him by the ear and I'll pull him off away from them. As I'm like, listen to her story. Why didn't you tell me this when I first arrived?
Licorice laughs, and a couple of the women, they come out of their hut and they see this thing and they're all pointing and laughing at Butternut. Yeah, you drag Butternut aside. He says, what? No, they said Milda, but hey, she left them. That doesn't make any sense. They care so much about Milda, why they let her go? And I talked to Kodak and he said it's fine. It's fine.
Did you talk to Milda?
Why would I talk to Milda? I talked to Kodak. He was the one that they say were beating her. And he said it's fine.
Yeah, he would, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, you were there, so yeah, he would, wouldn't he?
Well, what? I don't.
If he's beating his woman, do you think he's going to go, yes? Oh, hand of justice that could smite me down?
I'm just a cook. I'm just a cook. God. I'm going to make some food.
Well, yes, but you're up there with them all the time.
Oh, serving them food. I'm glad you're back so you could take care of this, Rolo. And he slaps you on the shoulder and he says, I gotta go. I gotta go make food. They got all those crazy candy bars. I heard they walk around naked. Is that true? The candy bars, they walk around naked. Is that true?
Everybody wears more clothes than we do. What are you talking about?
That's true. That's true.
Once they get down here where it's warm, they might take off their clothes. So I
saw a few of them, and I would not mind seeing them naked. I'm not gonna tell them because I heard they're very mean.
We will be using.
I'm a cooker, not a fighter.
You lost Jason.
Dang it.
You lost Jason.
Yeah, he dropped.
Yeah, he dropped. I actually wouldn't mind making this a quick. Let's just take a 5-minute bio break for everybody, or whatever break, and we'll pick back up with Greg when we come back.
All right.
See you guys in about 5 or so.
That's 7 minutes.
Hey, Jason, we decided to go ahead and take a 5-minute bio break.
So sure. I just lost connection for a moment, so it's all good.
Okay, cool. We'll see you in 5.
All right. Our internet does this weird thing where it spontaneously decides we don't really need internet.
I think your internet is wrong, and you do.
I think that is true. They're not here, but early Rose was, I really loved Hound and Rollo's whole conversation. Going down the list.
Have you already made characters for the Dresden Files game, Jason?
Yeah. Oddly enough, we got together and did that and said, all right, what will we play? And then it was like, that was more than a month ago that we made the characters. But it was interesting. They wanted to have the Red Court be a thing. So we actually set the game in the 70s, which also has other fun things like no cell phone, no internet. So you get a whole different kind of investigation. So it'll be interesting.
What's the Red Court?
It's a group of vampires that are. If you play contemporary with the novels, there are not very many of them left at all. If you want them to be a significant part of the story, then you have to either say that certain events didn't happen, move in the timeline, something like that.
What kind of characters are there? Are they all mages or?
No. So what we did was we decided that the setting would be in the Midwest, and it's a kind of traveling goblin market is the main setting. So the characters all have some kind of connection to that. There's one person who's kind of a mage who sold his true name for his powers, doesn't remember what it is. And it's not like he has amnesia, but he's got kind of a disconnected, doesn't know who he is thing now. There's a vampire that feeds on depression, and he runs a theater within this thing, basically for other vampires that feed on depression. And gives everyone a chance to go up and perform, but it's like the worst open mic night because when you fail hard, and then it's for the vampires that's delicious. There's a person that is a Valkyrie, but she had a falling out with Odin, so now she runs security for this thing. There's a reporter who is also a shape-shifting fox. Works for like a Weekly World News type thing. And then there's a person that is a sin eater. So she offers up food. So she's basically the caterer at the market. But when you buy her food, she also eats all your guilt and sin, and that's delicious for her. So that's the characters. Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
Have you his first session, you say?
Yeah, this will be the first play session. It's most of these players are not used to that type of game, so I'm a little nervous. But hopefully it'll come together pretty good.
Accelerated or the full version?
Accelerated.
Woohoo!
But they're more used to things like Pathfinder and such like. So I'm hoping to balance my love of story with their familiarity with crunch. So we'll see how that goes.
Fate is nicely somewhere in the middle. The hardest thing is getting used to how to use aspects.
There's the other thing to balance or get used to in Dresden, of course, is the scale rules. Just because it's a new mechanic for most people, and how and where to apply them. But I think I planned more than I normally do. I normally like a very emergent game, which sometimes gets a bit gonzo, frankly. So I planned it out a little bit more and laid out some stats ahead of time. So I think I've got enough to balance it out. I'm kind of hoping I made the. They didn't seem to understand the appeal of the magical. I forget what it is. The specialist, not the wizard, but the other one. So I made a technomancer, and his kind of big power that exhausts him utterly is basically creating a giant technomantic golem. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to copy Sue's stats and then rename it, and there we go. Let's see how they'd like that.
I like how you think.
Clever.
Yeah, I did a whole lot of what can I use here. Like the first thing I'm doing is having, as a distraction technique, actually, someone sets loose a bunch of kelpies to run through the market.
Why?
As a distraction technique.
It is a distraction, actually. It's because
Distraction technique.
yeah, well, there are reasons for it, and for that particular one. So they set the kelpies loose, and so I use the like half of the things from the hellhounds for the kelpies. They're not really obedient, but they are a group, and then I use the other half for like clockwork servitors. I gave them the obedience trait.
That's fun.
The only thing I wanted to be careful not to make everything I made resistant to force, because that's kind of boring. So the clockwork servitors are not actually resistant to force. They're pretty easy to knock down.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. And I'm super pleased that someone is using the Valkyrie mantle, because that's the one that, based on feedback I've gotten from Paranet papers and just conversations with people who played the game, that's the one that I insisted on us having. And so that one was the one that I worked on probably the most lovingly. So, not to mention the fact Guard's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
So
well,
I'm super pleased someone's using it.
She's so it's an interesting playbook because it operates at otherworldly.
Yes, it does.
And I think I may have told you this. Like, my take on scale was, you get scale as long as you're acting in accordance with your mantle, which is why the fairy queens, as long as they're being awesome alien, insane monarchs, operate at an incredible scale. Yes. But if they had to renew their license, they would suck. Because they don't operate at that level when they have to deal with the DMV.
I don't mind if I pass that along to Jim.
No, do it.
That's
the other thing. That's so part of my thinking about it in the Dresden verse is that one of the cases he makes in the books is that humans get free will, and the more powerful you are, you appear to have more and more options, but you actually have less.
Exactly.
So that's the thing, is the queens have a very narrow band in which they are gods, whereas humans are pretty adaptable. Which is why I said, like, for my game, if someone was playing Immortal and no one is, a police person operates at a level of scale as long as they are doing something that's within the realm of law enforcement.
The police officer would be a god at the DMV.
Yeah. So yeah, you play around with it a little bit. So the Valkyrie operates otherworldly, basically as long as she's acting in her kind of warrior for her god or chooser of the slain situation. And there was a short story with the Miss Guard where she and Dresden like took on a Beowulf type monster.
Arion, one of my favorites.
Yeah. So she's clearly operating at scale there too.
Yeah.
But there are other times when she wouldn't be. So let's say Miss Guard goes out on a date. So if Miss Guard goes out on a date, she's operating at mortal scale.
Not in Hendrick's size.
Ha!
So anyway.
Yeah, but you can't scale love.
Isn't that a song by Phil Collins? No.
So, yeah. one of the things I wanted, because she had the Valkyrie, she wanted to be tied to some kind of god. So we put in Mimir, who is the god of knowledge, but he's literally just a head. Normally floats in water, and everyone ended up having some kind of tie to him. And they're like, well, what are you planning for the first adventure? I'm like, oh, I already know that. Someone steals Mimir, obviously.
Nice.
Nice.
That's cool. That sounds really exciting. I've wanted to play Dresden Accelerator for quite a while, so I'm very happy to hear you're making that thing happen. You'll have to get your feet wet there and then circle back and run it.
I will do that
online. That would be awesome.
I have still not run anything for the Gauntlet. Like, I keep thinking I will, and then I never seem to have time. So I would like to.
We would like you to do that too.
What's that?
We would like it if you did that too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pick up with Grig. We have talked about you doing this bathing thing for so long, but you were going to talk to KRS first. Do you actually want to have that conversation, or do we want to skip past that to open with you heading to the baths? What would you rather do first?
I'd like to quickly find out what kind of a person KRS is.
Okay.
So let's start there.
Cool. So KRS is staying at the tanks, and you head up. The way the tanks work is they've kind of built in little. It's like a coffin hotel set up in the tanks. So you can go in there, and somehow they've got some kind of solar powered generator that cools it down a bit so that you're not in the middle of a giant metal cooking box, but it's actually rather cool inside. You just don't have much room. Rap on the little door, he opens it up, climbs out to the grated metal railing that you're standing on the second level here on the tanks, and Zero's with you. She'll hang back. She just kind of leans over the railing and watches the goings on, not trying to get in your business. She'll probably smoke a hand-rolled cigarette. And the KRS would be played by Mos Def. If you don't know what Mos Def looks like, he was Ford Prefect in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I like Mos Def a lot.
Yes.
So, yeah. And he's got like this kind of floppy cat hat going on. His clothes just hang off of him. They're a couple sizes too big. And so he comes and he looks at you, and he wouldn't know you because he would know your voice and you haven't spoken. So he says, do you need something? I've got this paid for a week.
No. I come
Grig.
to see
No, he wouldn't say Greek. What would he say? Nevermore? No, what would he say? Raven?
Raven.
Like immediately, he knows your voice. Raven. Grabs your arm. I'm sorry. You're Raven. I came here for you.
You came here for me. Well, how fortuitous. I came over to see you.
I mean, I came here before. He points his way out to the smoking ruin of Upper Ten's van. Before that, and I'm probably stuck, but that's okay. I can play. I want to play. I want to sing. Well, it's not singing, but I can flow.
Excellent. What is there a place you'd like to speak that we could have a moment with each other?
Oh.
Would you like to see the tower?
Yes. Yes.
Let's
Your friend Tempo, she did not want me to see the tower. That's cool,
Yes.
man. It's cool.
Yes. Well, if she were not as protective as she is, I do not think you would know my name. So, follow me, and I'd like to get an idea of how your flow echoes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the phonics. Make sure he picks it up and it sounds good. I can't believe how much signal you get out. I'm able to pick Nevermore 3 towns out. I don't know how you do it.
Well,
And he'll start walking with you, and as you guys are walking, you hear the tink, 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 tink as you're walking along the grate. It's like a grated catwalk type deal, where if you got boots, it always feels like you're not completely standing on a level surface because there are all those little gaps and holes in the grating. And you guys head down the stairs and you start walking across the way towards Nevermore Station. Zero, she takes a couple puffs and then she follows behind casually.
okay. So I don't necessarily want to play it out, but I'm basically interviewing him and making sure that he matches my ethos for
Okay.
my performances and stuff like that.
So most of the stuff he knows is a mixture of old school hip hop and jingles. Some of them you have heard Sunset, but he like flips them around a little bit. Sunsets are probably pure. His are like remixed versions of jingles,
Okay.
or maybe misheard lyrics that he just flows together well. And he does have he has a nice resonant voice. He has very clear diction. He has this lilting kind of rhythm that makes the words clearer and also adds amount. It's almost danceable, even though he's not. When he says he plays, like he can play an instrument, but it is mostly the instrument is his voice. He doesn't beatbox though.
Okay. Is he alone?
He is alone.
I'm very interested in how he got here alone.
Oh, cool. Why don't you read a person?
Okay.
It's an interesting point.
Wah wah. I got a 6.
You got a 6. So
My Dungeon World character gets an experience point.
Yeah.
I do not.
Grig the Bard got an XP. You, however, were not rolling on a highlighted stat, so you just get my juicy or something. Wait, it's not juicy at all. So go ahead and ask a question. You get to ask one anyway. Be prepared for the worst. Do you have the list of questions? I can drop it in chat if not.
Let's see here. Yeah, drop them in chat, please.
Done.
Oh, there we go. Well, let me ask him in
Yeah, you
character.
can ask him straight up. Something.
And then I can roll with one of these questions here. What did it take for you to get here alone on your own?
When I left, man, it was 3 of us. And I got here just the one. I had to run. There was a Wendy's around the perimeter. I didn't see him coming. I had to watch my girl. I was faster than her. Couldn't go back.
So I'll activate the roll that I made and see if he's telling the truth.
He is.
Okay.
So
I think it's time for everyone to join together against the Wendy's. And I want your voice to be the voice that starts that revolution. Are you with me? Do you mean to roll to manipulate? Or
yeah, I think you're trying to manipulate him to put himself out there when he obviously let his girl get drugged down by the Wendy's while he kept running. So that doesn't seem to be his general inclination.
Jesus!
Oh my goodness. You are a lovely being who fails a lot. The good news is that was hot, which is highlighted.
Yeah.
So you do get an XP.
Right.
And you're going to miss for other NPCs or PCs. Be prepared for the worst, he says.
Okay. There is, John, there is a more specific news, but like I want him to be the message that sends it out to everybody. Like I want to rally everybody to my cause, not just him. Does that make sense?
Oh, I wasn't muted. Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that I was hoping to get the fiction up to the point where I was going to be asking the people to rally around my cause. So
I mean, I can write some rhymes for you. I can broadcast. I can't leave, man. I can't leave. Like, I need this job. I need this money, man, because he looks out. I don't want to go out there where they are anymore. Surely we can work something out, you know? You were off air for a while. You must need some kind of backup. What do I got to do to be that backup?
at least let me interview you on the air before you perform. Then you can be my backup.
Okay. If that's what you want.
So let's start with a simple truth. She holds out her hand. My name is Greg. I'm pleased to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Greg. I'm still KRS. That's all I've ever been.
Well,
should I come up with a fake name?
no. Names have power. And names have personalities. I have multiple because I need multiple. But it seems like you only need yourself. Come. Let's hear you flow in my chamber.
Cool.
And then whenever time bears it out, I'd like to go take a bath.
Okay. He's good. His if you've ever heard Kumo D's Wild Wild West, that's what he just busts out.
No, but I'll listen to it after the show.
Wild Wild West.
It's a good one. It's good.
Oh, okay. I may have heard that one. One with Will Smith there.
No, no. It was Kumo D did a version before the Wild Wild West movie, which I think Will Smith may have done a cover of it. But yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Like we chill, nobody gets ill in the place. We call the hill we triumph. So we don't fight, we kill at the Wild Wild West. So something along those lines. Cool. So yeah, let's stick with you, and you head to. Oh, do you have to? Are you able to take the stairs like Rolo does, or do you go down the Pilgrim's Path, which is the really long, slow, uncomfortable, narrow passage that takes significantly longer?
I think out of respect to Rolo, and since Zero is coming with me, I will take the Pilgrim's Passage.
Nice. Cool. Good. So I'm actually going to make all 4 player characters in approximately the same place, and here's how I'm going to do it. By the time that you've done all of this, you end up in the back of the line, Grig, with Zero behind the candy bars, behind Upper 10 and his guys, and Maybelline and Radiant, and everybody's queued up. And that is when Rolo, you come, because the branded are all holding them back because they're saying, hey, you guys got some weapons and we're going to have to check all this, put it in a box. We'll give it back to you when you leave. You know, they're doing the normal rigmarole. Upper 10's giving them a little bit of grief. He's like, where's Rolo? Where's Rolo? You know, I want Rolo to talk to me. Sure. I'm sure these are rules that go for your people and everything, but I'm up at 10. I don't think you understand. And he's you know, he's talking a lot of trash to your branded, and they're like, well, listen, you're not going anywhere until you do what we tell you to do. And he's like, whoa, you don't tell me shit, man. Listen, you guys wouldn't even have Rolo if I hadn't fixed Gobstopper. My people fixed Gobstopper. My supplies. The deal was I get to come here. And I'm here. And I don't have any weapons, but you're not touching me. And so that's what you walk in on, Hound. I assume you're following. And I'm just going to say that you wake up here, Sunset, because Curly Whirly carried you down. Because she loves you. And she wants you here in the Oasis.
She is not a big woman.
No, it was not easy. Yeah, Curly Whirly's not a big woman, but neither is Sunset, and she managed it somehow.
Love finds a way.
Yeah.
Upper 10, so good to see you. You know, they're not giving you a hard time. No one, this is part of being a pilgrim. Let me welcome you. First, you need to remove your outer vestments because we are going to be going through a cleansing.
He turns to Maybelline. He's like, remove my raiments, baby. And Maybelline just she nods.
You know, these things we've inherited and they have great meaning to the Oasis. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah, you just want to see a piece of me. That's fine, Rolo. Listen, I don't go that way, but for you, I could make an exception. I'm just saying you're a very handsome man.
But I am nothing compared to you, Upper 10.
You hear that, Mabe? You hear that, Mabe? You hear that, Radiant? Yeah, this guy, he knows how to lay it on. He's buttering me up. He's buttering me up. All right, come on, get my shirt off.
And so, yeah, everybody, it's like, it's the old-fashioned pilgrim's greeting, which is part of the security process. But hey, it seems more polite when it's, you know, you're washing away all that past stuff. So give us all your clothes. It's hard.
Oh, so you're going more than like outer layer? Like you want these guys to literally strip down? Because that's different and amusing.
Well, yeah, like I said, this is not a nudity taboo culture. If you've forgotten from the when we
I
first
know.
talked about it. Yeah, so they're gonna get clothes, but yeah, this is the symbolic shedding of the past before they step in to the oasis.
Oh, nice. So Clark, the leader of the candy bar, she picks up on what's going on, and you hear she's like, she does that, fingers up to the mouth whistle, and her whole crew, like they're behind Upper Tens, like 8 or so people, but they start just stripping out of everything. They seem to have very few compunctions about this. No compunctions at all. So, yeah. But Upper Tens, it's like, you got something to me. Change into it. It's just, it's a little weird, man. It's not really my.
There's like a robe. I'll give you this is the robe, but after you're washed. This is just a symbolic. When this first washing, we're going to do this to everybody. Going to pour some water on your head, and that symbolizes washing away the cares of the outside world as you're welcome into Oasis. After that, you can have this. You can put on your old clothes, when you want, but once you have a bath, you're probably going to not want to be wearing these things until you've had them nice and cleaned like you're about to be.
One of the branded leans over to whisper into your ear, "We're not going to be able to wash their clothes, sir."
We're going to be able to wash their clothes. I'll wash their clothes. You'll wash their clothes.
Yes, of course, Rolo.
You're not too proud to wash someone's clothes, are you?
No, Rolo. Of course not. That's whatever you need.
Yeah, I thought so. You're a good kid, or man, or whatever he is, or her. I don't know.
It's he's a good kid.
You're a good kid. Like just like a casual thing. I don't. It's not like a big deal. But,
okay.
So yeah, get everybody stripped, and then I guess now, and then I'll go through the questions as they're. Once they've done that, then they can come into the main chamber where we do the. Are you agreeing to the rules? And then I wash each, pour water on their heads.
Cool. Yeah, you go through this. Yeah, you've got them to the point where it's really going to be difficult for them to back out. So Upper 10 is Haribo will come up and kind of offer Upper 10 a little bit of privacy away from the others, and he'll end up getting into the robe. Of course, he says this robe is as good as my robe back home. I really should have brought that robe, but then again, it'd probably be in the van. He keeps talking. Yeah, why don't you pull off that move? All are welcome. Oh, and does Grig strip down for this? She doesn't need to, right?
I think she said she's not been in, so technically if she came with them...
Okay.
I mean, normally I would consider her a friend and I might have given her a pass, but she kind of came with them and it would be really awkward. So... Does that add my sharp?
Your sharp is a 1, and I see it's 2d6 plus 1, so it is.
Okay.
That is not highlighted for you because you're highlighted with cool and weird, but you do have an 8, which means you can ask 2.
Are they hiding my enemies amongst them?
Yeah. Upper 10 he's your enemy. He wants Oasis.
And are they keeping any malicious secrets?
Oh, question. Does Maybelline have Souvenir right now, or did you end up taking Souvenir with you?
I think we're still letting her have Souvenir. Although she might have handed them, I don't know. That's up to you. She might not have wanted to go down to the cave with a baby.
If she'd asked you to take the baby so that it's down there, would you have?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so you've got souvenir with you, or Hound is carrying souvenir because you had this whole ceremony to carry. Hound, I've just volunteered you to carry the young baby.
Are you out of your mind?
I, as the MC, am out of my mind, but somehow that's happened. You can pawn him off if you.
I could see Rolo having him and then get to the ceremony and then just.
I want that. I am being right now. So, Hound has the baby.
Yeah. Sunset looks at that and goes, "How long a nap was that?"
Oh, nice.
And the baby, as you're holding, it's just slowly, his fingers are in your hair, and it's not actually yanking it. It just is doing this thing where it's sleeping and it's just running its fingers through your hair and just kind of gripping it gently in its little chubby fingers, just so you know they're a hound.
It's kind of cute.
It is kind of cute, yeah.
I will not dash it to the ground like a football.
Are they keeping any malicious secrets? Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm thinking through that. You notice that the way Upper 10 and Haribo are watching Panache, you get the feeling that they've talked to Panache privately at some point during this travel. Panache is one of the branded. He's the one who his hand was bitten by a Wendy. They seem to feel like Panache will listen to them. They haven't really pushed things because you're working with them, but it seems as if they expect, push comes to shove, that Panache will back their play.
Okay.
Well, those are your two questions. So what do you do? Opportune says, "Yeah, I jumped all through your hoops, man. I'm wearing this so robe, and I'm ready to see Oasis. I could smell it. I could smell the water."
Once their shit is locked up, I will let them in. And like I said, we've got the branded have been warned. Everybody's prepared. So this is not like we're letting in a couple like normal pilgrims. We're kind of expecting trouble, and so everybody should be expecting. So watchful. So boom, we lift up the next gate and let them in to the main chamber where they can see the waterfall, the two upper ponds. They got the walkway down into the depths. Can hear the birds, see the lights.
They are awestruck, and all the candies except for Zero, they take off at a jog. They're going to go jump in the water. They're like, "We're going to jump in this water." They're not asking permission. They're just telling you they're going to jump in that water. You're not sure if they can swim. They're going to jump in that water, and they run over and find a bridge, and they're jumping into the water. And
probably about to find out if they can swim. I don't know how many people outside Oasis can.
They are capable enough doggy paddlers, and they will start heading towards the shore because it is a very unfamiliar thing, and there is a lot of laughter from the candies. They're splashing each other. They head over to the shelf where the washerwomen would normally be and sit on the edge, and they're having a great time. Zero sticks with you, Grig, and once she gets permission to throw her clothes back on, she stole a lot of glances, tried to steal glances of at you as you strip down. How did you handle that, or how do you handle that?
The only thing that I have a problem with is the touch until I feel clean.
Mhm.
So the looks are fine. So at some point, if I catch her looking away, then I'll take her by the chin and I'll return her gaze to whatever she was looking at.
Nice. Does Greg have any tattoos, or is her body untouched, unmarred?
Well, her body is marred by the radiation that went like, the I guess like the parts that had to heal from the radiation. Um, but um, let me say that she does have tattoos, but that I don't know what they are right now.
That's fine. That is okay. And I think we'd had a bit of like it'd been too long since we established the fact the where it was that you had the radiation problem. That was the Grand Engine.
Yeah, exactly. But like it left pox on my body as they got healed up and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
Zero doesn't shrink away from that. She doesn't also. She also does. You haven't bathed, so she doesn't reach out to touch it or anything. But she seems more curious than revolted. And
so I mean I'll join. I'll get in the water with the candy bar. I mean I won't run and jump, but like I'll walk over there and get in, unless there's another place for me to bathe more privately.
Well,
oh, is there?
well, not exactly private, but I mean, they run off, but that'd be like, here's the pools, and you know, and I would be leading them, and we're gonna go down farther down to the hot ponds. That's the normal washing spot because this is kind of spring fed, the cold water, and then the hot ponds have the leaks from our geothermal plant in there. So various stages of hot, they can, it's like that's a little bit more comfortable for most people. Plus, it's shallow, whereas these are deep.
Okay, yeah. So I'll wait for a shallow pool with at the geothermals.
Cool. Yeah, Zero follows along. She ends up carrying a lot of the candy bar's clothes because they left them back there. And she just mentions, they'll want them back at some point. Cool. What about Sunset? When the Katies start yelling your name, come sing to us?
All right. So Sunset, first of all, had unsurprisingly no issue taking off clothes. Did not bother putting on the robe. So she's happily just walking around Starkers. And see if she feels like singing right now. Yes, she does. So she's gonna like go up to a place for her off the bridge and like stand up on the handrail to sing. Golly, I don't even know what she sings right now, but she'll sing Starry Night. I don't know. And when she finishes, she'll go ahead and dive in. Long as I'm seeing, I might as well roll the move, though.
That is true. They asked for it. They want, give me a break. That is what they have demanded.
They will have that then, by God.
A Kit Kat bar?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that.
Kit Kat
Oh, I wish hot was marked.
Goodness
Yeah.
gracious. You're so good at this hot stuff.
Rocking out that
We
artful
are
and
terrible
gracious.
people for not having highlighted hot for you. So sorry.
That's good. I got the move from so many lovely cool and hot marks before, and I'm happy to have this move because I felt like it was important for the character.
I like it too. 10 plus, you get 3.
Yep. So I think for this particular case, I would like to consider Rolo to be the patron, where in his space it's a et cetera, et cetera. And I think what I'm going to do is just smack 3 of them with them admiring Rolo for making all this possible. So
Ooh.
I'm going to push the candy bars into Rolo's camp. And part of that is because I don't like upper 10 and can't wait to gut that fucker. But, so yeah, I'm trying to push the candy bars, who I do like, into liking Rolo more.
Cool. Are you looking for like the previously established like Abba Zaba the trainer AJ and Watcha, or the gang leader Clark, or Zero, who's well actually she's not there because
She's not
up with
there.
Greg.
Well, I want the leader, so I'm going to pick Clark.
Okay.
I want AJ, and Watcha already kind of has a weird thing with me, so I think I'll throw Watcha in too. Have less of a relationship with Abba Zaba.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so you sing that, and they are mostly sitting at the little shelf area listening to you sing, and they splash you playfully a few times, and they seem to be in a great mood. A few of them comment, "Oh yeah, this is Rolo's place, and we really like it. He's pretty great. Can't believe he has this is amazing. Yeah." And,
Much better than upper 10's place.
yeah, and Watch It says, "Hey, we need some booze. Let's go find something to drink." And AJ nods. Yeah, that'd be great. It'd be perfect. Let's go get wasted. This is awesome. They're in a pretty good mood. Don't seem like they want to cause trouble right now, because it'd be trouble for Rolo. And this is pretty great. We could just stay here. This is good. Stay here and hang out. Clark's Abba Zaba is less into this than some of the other girls. They're not totally taken aback, but you're able to swing over a few of them. So we'll cut over to Hound. Are you over at the warm pools with Rolo and Upper 10 and Maybelline and Grig and Zero?
Yeah, but to one side, because I've got Souvenir. And I'm kind of digging that. I know, I'm surprised too. And I think the more that I'm holding him, the more I'm going, this is kind of nice. And I'm not sure I want to pretend to have this kid. So I'm hanging out, but I'm keeping a very watchful and distrusting eye on them and sort of shielding the baby.
Nice. So eventually Upper 10 sheds the robe and steps quickly into the pool. Sorry, what'd you say?
Don't want to see any of that.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of ruins the mood.
Hide the baby. Hide me. Doesn't go.
Souvenir would giggle at that. He's in a pretty good mood. You can see he started to, there's little beads of sweat on his little baby forehead there. This is very warm. He was in the cool air before, but he's not, doesn't seem to be super stressed about it. It is a very warm climate. So, Greg, when you bathe, is this a thing where you just need to wash off, or do you have some kind of soap that you're using? What is the cleansing ritual like for you?
So I have a very so I have this idea, so I'm gonna run with it. I have a bar of soap, and the cleaning has to come from that bar of soap. It's a limited resource, and it from where I came from, you know, when you reach adulthood, it's given to you, and it's basically like, this is how much sex you can have.
That's
And
terrible.
yeah, so but you have to clean yourself of the sin of the world. So that's what I've been taught, and that's what I believe in. So and since Zero doesn't have her own bar, she'll have to use mine.
Oh gosh, she doesn't realize the import of this. So yeah, she just soaps right away. So as the two of you are standing there bathing, you notice something about Zero's body. First of all, she's got a lot of old wounds. Her knuckles are scarred, kind of just the routine of being a mechanic. You bang your knuckles against things as you're doing the work. There is a section in her back where it looks like she maybe got hit with an axe or something, and it just kind of cut a divot in her lower back, and it's scarred over. It's like this mash of white scar tissue, but then there's just this little, like you could stick your finger in, and the skin kind of goes over, and there's that cut. But the thing that you pick up or notice about her body that perhaps is the most surprising is that along her tummy are old as in not extremely recent. There are little stretch marks along her tummy.
Okay.
The telltale signs that she may have been pregnant at some point.
Okay.
And yeah, so she soaps up without much of a care. Takes a little bit, like you have to kind of show her a little bit.
Right.
Like she watches you, and then she does that thing. And here, or back up, or is there a place here?
So, Rolo, are there private places?
For this many pilgrims? Probably. I mean, it's a bit. I have multiple caves. If you're wanting to wander and just find a place to be private, well, with actually, probably you can't find anywhere in our caves right now that is private because of being with a candy bar.
They don't trust you enough to leave you.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's a candy bar, so I've got Brandon following all the. It's like these people could be trying to sabotage. They probably are trying to sabotage. They're probably looking for weapons. Don't let them find weapons. You know, that's
Okay. So
but
I head back up to the tower. Then.
if you would approached me, I might be able to. But yeah, there's going to be people following. I mean,
oh, I've still got hold over you.
Yeah. Yes.
So, first of all, you get an experience point for letting me down here if you hadn't marked it.
Oh yeah, thanks for remembering that.
And now you can have another one by providing me a private place.
Sure. You can sleep. I have a bed I don't use, and I'd be happy to show you to it.
Okay, take us there.
Because I sleep on my hammock out in the open. So
okay.
All the way to the far end of the caves.
Nice.
Okay. Excellent.
Up by the waterfall. So you get the most romantic spot in the whole place, right?
Nice. Boy, oh, look at you. That's what one hold gets you. Way to go, News. Newsed it up. The Water Bear's Shrine.
I couldn't find my special move on my character sheet, but
I've got the limited edition playbooks up.
Okay.
If I can find the news, because it's not in alphabetical order. Because that would be it's a lot of questions.
Okay.
That's cool. I'm just saying it's fitting for the news. If you and another character have sex, you see through each other's personas and get a glimpse of the person underneath. They can choose to ask you 1, 2, or 3 questions, and you can ask them the same number.
Okay. Do you want to come back to that, or
I would, but yeah, I think 0 is patient, and she's looking for intimacy more than release of tension.
Okay.
She's waited a long time for this patiently since that night on Gobstopper, but there's nothing hurried. She studies you as much as anything else. So we will come back to those questions.
Okay.
So Hound, do you ever end up getting Souvenir into the drink? Washing the baby off in the warm water?
Probably not in
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say not in the warmer pool, maybe the one slightly cooler because the baby looks a little hot. But yes.
Yeah, here's the deal. Put a baby in a warm bath, he's gonna pee on you.
Yeah.
Put a baby in a cool bath, he's probably still gonna pee on you.
Yeah.
I mean, because at some point Rolo is going to take the baby to specifically ritualistically wash Souvenir.
Nice.
While
Hey, I want to help.
Okay, well, I will be doing a religious ceremony over the baby, washing away all of his sins, and all the troubles that he's brought from the outside. That's gone. He's at Oasis now. He has a nice shiny life ahead of him, hopefully. Blah blah blah. But there's religious aspects that I take seriously especially for kids.
Nice. Very cool. So Sunset, just checking in with you. Is there anything that you wanted to do while down here?
I think actually a lot of what Sunset's doing is blending into the background, but keeping half an eye on Upper 10. Just because if there's someone who can harsh the calm of what's going on, it's going to be him.
Mm-hmm.
So she is trying to keep an eye on him as much as possible.
Cool.
You're not hurt anymore, though, right?
Nope.
Hurdy Whirly got you taken care of.
Yeah, although I guess that's the other thing. Like she is paying attention to Upper 10 rather than the people that she has emotional attachments with.
Are there any people left injured? I mean, obviously Chicklet. I mean, technically she's been healed up and had stuff used on her, but
Technically, yeah.
And Panache. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to. Those people I would be taking up to the shrine before the public part of the shrine to do take care of my people. And actually, if Upper Tens, if he had any, didn't get his one bodyguard that.
Haribo?
Didn't he get hurt too?
He did get hurt. He got saved, but he was hurt. So yeah, there's another person who could use that. Cool. So you want to pull off your awesome...
Hopefully. And maybe Maybelline, because she always seems stressed. And this might calm her down.
Ooh, nice. That's very thoughtful.
Don't mean to pull away from Sunset. I just wanted to.
I honestly I'm not in the middle of a charge situation at the moment, and there's nothing she especially wants at the moment.
Yeah, ditto.
So.
Oh, should I mention, by the way, that I'm trying not to let Sunset see me with the baby?
He.
So, other than those obvious people, anybody else would be welcome at the ceremony, and I'm sure I will have Brandon following. But
yeah, Upper 10 wants to see this. He definitely wants to. He's playing up the whole I'm really curious all this stuff. This is great what you got down here. There's so much stuff. You got that garden. You can grow all the crops, all the water. You got so much water. People are bathing in it. It's crazy. It's funny. Bathing in it.
So, and it's about, the ceremony is the typical, water cleaning, water is life being reborn. That's the general spiel of his pattern, the cleansing. Water is life.
It's a cool little move here. All right. When you lead a group in true ceremony, roll plus cool, and that will get you an XP. Don't forget to mark that XP. Oh, 9. Somebody want to help you?
I'm willing to try with my +0.
+0 HX.
All right.
How are you helping?
So the main thing that John's doing here is just the ritual. That Rollo's doing is the ritual, right?
Mm-hmm. If you looked at all into it, that would be help, I think. Just saying.
I think that I don't just look into it. I look like a naiad that was meant for it. So, there's a little mist rolling around my feet and all that goodness. All right. Hey!
Oh, that's all you needed. It's enough to push you up by 1 to a 10. You get 2 options.
Yay.
Okay. Anyone injured is healed.
Sweet.
So all those people should be feeling much better. And I'm concerned for Maybelline, so I think I'm gonna go with It's hard to figure out what her thing is, though. She's not bereft. Maybe lost is reassured. Anyone lost is reassured.
Nice. That's great. That is really cool. I imagine this ceremony is more than Upper 10 expected. Like that you are unveiling so many hidden secrets of Oasis to him, so many wonders. It is. He even comments like, "This is more than I ever expected." You know, I heard stuff. I just figured it was a lot of water, but it's amazing.
There's power in the water. Probably shouldn't say it that way, but I did. Oh well.
It's like music to his ears.
He's reassured now. Yes.
Cool. So, yeah, that ceremony would probably happen before Zero and Grig retire to the Water Bearer's shrine, and the two of you are
And
able
since
to.
you want it will be prepared.
Nice.
So,
quick cut up to topside where Tempo is cleaning her gun. Cut back to Greg, who's down in the pleasant confines of the Water Bearer's shrine. Yep, that Tempo's. Hope she doesn't hear about this because she'll be super jealous and angry. Cool. So there are two things I'd like to do before, because we're coming up near end of session. We'll do feedback. There are two things I want to do. We are going to roll the candy bar custom move, which I think is going to cover a few some time. We'll see if it's days. We'll see exactly. I'm thinking maybe it's going to be a couple days of them sticking around here in the Oasis area. And then we have some questions to deal with vis-a-vis Grig and Zero. So I think let's do the questions first, because those would happen. Do you imagine these are questions you guys have as you lie entwined with the waterfall nearby?
Yeah. Actually, I think it'll start there, but I think I'll work our way to the waterfall, and like we can just kind of enjoy it. Maybe like back rubs or something like that.
Nice. I like that.
And the waterfall will cover up our words and answers.
All right. She's going to ask 3 questions.
3 questions, good Lord.
Yeah. Her first question will come as she's working a kink out of your back. So she's kind of scooted behind you and says something like, "Oh, found a knot here." And she starts to press upon it and mentions something about that Abba Zaba used to do this kind of stuff for the girls when they had rough nights and had to sleep on rocks outside. She says, "What are you most proud of?"
So that's interesting because she was thinking that she doesn't have much to be proud of yet. Like, she's finally on the cusp in her mind of being able to use all of the goodwill and all of the people's belief in her that she's been, you know, telling the truth all this time, that she was going to finally persuade them to do something large and impactful um with this whole Wendy's thing. But right now she says, I guess I'm most proud of the friendships I've created with Tempo and Oogie Boogie, Rolo and Hound and Sunset and you. Do you want to go back and forth on these
I would
questions?
love to go back and forth. I'm sorry, I was trying to click the mute button. She'd say, "And me? We're friends?"
I haven't shared that ritual in years. You are now closer to me than most anyone.
Hmm. That's nice. Special. So, what's your first question?
I want to ask different questions than this list.
Ha ha.
What are you most afraid of?
So we asked this question. She started pulling your hair back behind, like behind, sweeping it behind your head, and she started to twist it into one braid. Afraid of. I'll never. So I have a song. I have a son. I gave him away. That's candy bar custom. He would be 3. I'm afraid I'll never speak to him. Didn't name him. I know where he is. I've watched him from my bike. What are you afraid of?
I saw a vision while we were waiting out that storm. This place was destroyed. People were dead. I'm afraid it's going to come true. I'm afraid the vision is real.
Do you normally have visions that come true?
I don't normally have visions. What 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 can I ask her questions that aren't these questions? Like, can we pad them out a little bit?
Sure, of course.
Okay. I mean, I just don't want to take up all this scene time.
Yeah, no, it's just the one worry I have is like if we pad it out, then. But let's. We've been leading up to this for 3 sessions. We can be a little selfish, and I'll just beg forgiveness.
Because of the customs, because you had to give away your son, do you hate the gang? Is there someone that you hate?
Hate? No, I understand. It's the life. When I prospected, this was clear. Abba Zaba, she brought me in. I knew the cost. If you don't have a girl, give it up. I'd heard they killed them, but they don't. Trade it. Radiant, though, I don't like Radiant.
What did she do to you?
I don't like the way she treats the children who work at Firestone. She uses Upper Ten's power like it's her own. Tells the children, at least you're not cleaning the junk. She's not very pretty. Whenever Upper Ten gets tired of her, I think I'll kill her.
Do you always kill things that aren't pretty?
No, no. No, I say she's not pretty, so Upper Ten will get rid of her soon. If I killed everything that wasn't pretty, I would kill a lot of things. Except for you.
Are you saying you're making an exception? Or are you saying that I'm pretty?
I'm saying you're pretty. I don't think I could kill you. I've listened to you for a long time. You're the smartest person I know. I listen to you on long rides. And I love my sisters. I love the candies. But they don't talk like you do. What do you do that's just an act?
I report the truth, but I act like it's objective. I act like you can describe what happened in a way that everyone agrees to. But soon, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to tell people who is good, who is evil, and who deserves to die.
Who do you think deserves to die?
The easy answer right now is who I'm focused on, the Wendy's. They they came close to tearing us apart, to ending everything that I enjoy. And they take it from other people too.
Yeah.
And I choose not to ask another question on the list.
Cool. So, with the time that we have left, I would like to roll out a custom move. When the candy bar game comes to visit your place, the host needs to roll plus hot. On a hit, choose which options don't happen. On a 7 to 9, choose 2. On a 10 plus, choose 3. On a 6 minus, choose 1. And hold on tight. You can ask for help.
Am I rolling that?
The host
You're the
does,
host.
so
You are the
I think
host.
you're the hostess with the mostest.
Okie dokie. That was my improvement, by the way.
Oh,
Raised my hot.
clever.
I did not know that was the stat you were going to go with. I did watch the show though, but I didn't end up remembering what your stat you're going to do was.
Okay.
They didn't use sharp because you had to use that for your entering into Oasis move.
Yep. And it was about talking to people and relationships, and charisma. So
I'll
where's-
help out. How do I help?
you roll with HX that you have with Rolo.
Do you want them to do that before I roll?
Up to you. I've allowed help after the roll, but if Grig's committed to it, that sounds awesome to me.
I am down for help from anybody. I mean, I am basically getting help from everybody in this
But you
situation.
can only count one of the help rolls.
Okay, so go for it, Greg.
Cool.
Nice.
Does someone want to help me with my help roll? What is
I'm
the
down for helping with that help.
what is
No, there's no
move?
helping helps.
What does the help move do on a 9?
So if you roll HX and if you get a 7 to 9, you give them a +1.
Okay.
On their roll.
All right, you've got a +1.
Nice.
Right. So we only have to suffer through one of those.
Which one? What options do you choose not to happen?
I choose.
I know which one seems to make sense, but
Okay, choose not to happen. I choose not to have the candies convince anybody to leave.
You can just flip the other one. I mean, safe enough, like Pam said. Which one are you allowing to happen? Which one of the 4?
I would allow them to get drunk and. I think it fits them, and it's okay. I mean, I don't want to stifle them from being candies. I mean, I'm tempted by the. Who cares if they get influence over somebody?
I care. It's probably gonna be me.
But no, fuck it. I want them to. They're the fucking candy bars. It's not right if they don't have
Sure.
get drunk and high and have a fight.
What the hell?
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I figured that was gonna be the first one that you said.
No,
Okay.
no, they're punchers. Rich has established that they're happy to brawl, so it's not
Yes.
like the throat slitting gang. You know, it's like, yeah, some people get in a fight, thrown off ledges into the pools. It'd be a great bar fight scene.
Yes, and I think that's what we
Drunk, naked chicks flying off balconies.
and naked branded. So I want to know, Sunset, what is the thing that is said that starts the fight? And then I want from Greg, who says it?
Fine.
I think it has to be something said by one of the branded implying that the candies don't belong or they're not as good. So let's say that. Let's have a look here. Looking for the right person to actually say this thing. Oh, wait, I don't get to say that. I think what is said is that how terribly lucky they are that Rolo allowed people like them
Whoa.
into the Oasis.
Nice. Greg, who says that?
Can I choose a PC?
I think that would be hilarious.
Well, I see there's some volunteers.
Well, Rolo's not going to say it.
No, I know Narola's not going to say it. Man, there's like a million different people I want to have say this.
Here's Knee-High with her crazy Wendy's eyes.
Say again.
Knee-High was allowed in, so now maybe she thinks she's special. But she also has like this kind of touch of the Wendy's about her.
Oh, interesting.
It could easily be Blackjack. It could be Hound. I mean, it could even be Butternut. He says things inappropriate sometimes.
Yeah.
There are
Okay.
a lot. It could be whoever you choose.
Oops, sorry.
It's whoever I choose, right?
Yeah.
I choose 3 people to say it. Knee-High, Hound,
Of course.
and Tempo.
Tempo's not down here.
Yeah.
Oh, is it happening down there? Okay.
Yeah, it happens as you guys are like sharing a meal or something.
I thought it was happening over the next few days or something like that.
Oh, good question there. But yeah, it's while they're in Oasis. So yeah, it needs to happen in Oasis. So do you want to scratch Tempo? Do you want to sub out somebody for Tempo? Or is it a Knee-High Hound thing?
Now let's just do those 2.
All right. That's what sets off the brawl. And yeah, it escalates. And we will bring our session to a close with the big fight. Something between the candy bars and the branded, and several other people get roped in. They're topless candy bar gangers who end up yanking branded and falling into the water. And yeah, it's hectic. It's like a Walking Tall moment, or Roadhouse. It's like a fight in Roadhouse. Broken bottles, people jumping over tables, lots of kicking. And that's where we'll end tonight's session. So let's do our end of session HX. It's the end of every session. Choose a character who knows you better than they used to. If there's more than one, choose one at your whim. Tell the player to add +1 to their HX with you on their sheet. If that brings them to an HX +4, and they get an XP and reset their HX to +1. And we will start with Hound. Who knows you better, Hound? You cannot say Souvenir.
Souvenir knows me better. No, I actually think Rolo does. And that will bring the HX to 4. So I will reset it to 1.
Is it your HX going up or Rolo's? That would be Rolo. Rolo is raising
Rolo's
his
HX
to
with
you.
you would go up. You're not changed.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got it reversed. Yeah, so it would be Rolo.
Cool. Jason, who knows you better? Oh, I'm sorry. Sunset, who knows you better?
Didn't really interact a lot with Grig or Hound today, so it's going to be Rolo. Well, I feel like it has been before, but I don't know. Nope. Come to think of it, it was always Hound. It was -1 and then +1 with Hound.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, Rolo.
Let's see. I think everyone knows me better because nobody's actually seen me in the Oasis. But I've got to pick someone. We'll say Grig.
There you go. And last but not least, Grig.
Hound, you were down in Oasis when I was down there too, right?
And
Okay.
watching pretty much everything.
Yeah, you saw my bathing ritual.
Mhm.
So you know me better.
Cool. That brings you up to 4 for me.
Nice.
Nice. So that means you reset to HX plus 1 and get an XP.
Yay.
Awesome. Everybody got the energy to do a quick roses and thorns?
Sure.
Sweet. So we start with thorns. Things that could have gone better in the session. Things you'd like to see slightly different next time around. We'll be playing in 2 weeks, so this feedback is helpful for me. I'll always make sure that even if I can't listen to the whole session, I try to listen to the last few minutes and the roses and thorns. It's really good prep. What did I screw up? Don't screw it up again. What did I do good? Do that more. Jason, what thorns did you have from today's session?
So I struggled a little bit with Sunset's motivations in Paradise. Sunset in Paradise. That sounds good. Because, like I said, there wasn't really anything that she wanted there other than, a brief respite. And normally with the Battle Babe, what I do is I immediately intercede and throw myself into tense situations. But I felt like if I were to do that, I'd be stepping on Rolo's toes. Which, especially because like most of the campaign has been building up to getting back to Oasis, I really, really didn't want to do. So I struggled a little bit with finding a way to insert Sunset into the narrative. And we're starting with a fight next time, so maybe I'll be able to find my place there.
Cool. I get that. It's definitely a risk. We can try to mitigate it. We'll work past it. Thank you for highlighting that. So next we'll go with John. What thorns did you have, John?
I had one. Honest. Oh, it's a super minor thing. And it's more me, I guess. Didn't realize how many men that were with Upper 10. I thought the Candies were like all of his people, the protection other than Haribo and I'm going to call him Lupus again, but it's not. Ludens.
Like the
cough drops, yes. So I was kind of shocked that I was letting that many people into Oasis. Like, oh, wait, that many? Okay. But that's, I mean, I wasn't forced at that minute, but yeah, that caught me by surprise that it was going from.
I don't think I was terribly clear about numbers, and I'm perfectly willing to say that it's because in my mind it was like 8, but that also included the wives. So I was thinking more like his Haribo and probably a couple of other guys, because Upper 10 doesn't completely trust the Candies, so he would have a few personal bodyguards. But yeah, 8 is probably a little high if that would be 8 guards, because then that's like 2 gangs in your hold, and I didn't envision that kind of of threat either. I need to actually just name it down and list it all out so that I've got those at hand instead of going. I've always, when I come to gangs, I often go with like a few that we name and put faces to, and then the rest are all extras that will step up when it's narratively important.
Well,
But the numbers fluctuate a little bit
that
on
makes
you.
sense to me, and just like I said, it's a minor thing. Just caught me by surprise. If wives were in that number, that's a whole different. But that's
Yeah. Wives are in that number. I would say like his personal guard 3 or 4, counting Haribo. 4 would be a top end number. I'm more comfortable with like 3, and then the candies are like a dozen. So it's about equal number with what you have for the branded. Cool. Any other thorns?
Nope. That's the only thing for me.
Good deal. Mark.
I just feel like I could have gone on for another hour. I just feel like we didn't have enough time. So, and I felt like I was taking up too much time at the end. So,
But you, I mean, I hear you, and it did take up a long time. I pushed us forward, so thorn on me for like not coming up with a good way of balancing it to where we could have come back. I just got kind of engrossed in that scene, so I was selfish.
Good games always feel short, don't they?
Yeah. Any others, Mark?
No.
Pam.
I'm kind of struggling with, yeah, I mean, I know it's going to seem like I should say something like I was less involved, but realistically, for a driver, my level of involvement was about where it should be with something that took place entirely within Oasis. And so the only thorn that I can think of is people's concerns about, and I can't say that. I was fine. I didn't have any problem with anything that happened. I thought there was really good role play, and I was happy to watch it from the confines of what I think was appropriate for my character. So I really love the thorn.
We'll give you a big member of the branded to ride around next episode. Tugging on the ears.
Silly.
Can
I do that with Butternut? Because he looks like he would.
Butternut, there you go.
He could carry Hound around, yeah.
That's his punishment for not taking the Milda thing seriously.
You'll do that more often then. That's a bad punishment. Okay, we'll stick with you, Pam, for roses. What roses did you have from?
So the role play tonight was pretty cool. Like I said, from an observational perspective, I know that Sunset didn't have quite as much screen time as the other two, but Jason and I absolutely loved the scene that you had after you got hit with the what's it called?
The narco drugs.
Narco stab.
Yeah.
She laughed out loud.
I did. And it was more in delight as anything because I thought it was just really well played. And John, I all of the stuff in Oasis, it just blows me away how clearly you've conceived of all of that and how well you described the execution of the rituals and whatnot. I thought it was really pretty. And as someone who, really likes water personally, I thought it just resonated with me. So I was a little envious of your character choice. And that's the first time that's really happened. So good job there. And Mark, I don't think you should at all feel bad about your character's moments sort of coming to fruition in this session. Like, like Richard. Why did I just call you Richard? Because I work with a Richard. That's why. So what
His
Rich
mama
was saying,
named him Richard.
yes. So like Rich was saying, things have been leading up to this moment. So it was sort of all natural, and it was like very well played. So I'd say the role play all around was stupendous, and I enjoyed watching it. That's my and that includes you, Rich.
Oh, thanks.
Your role play is always exceptional. So,
Oh, thank you. I
yeah.
appreciate it. I was mostly happy that I got to do Upper 10. I never tire of Upper 10.
No, I love Upper 10. I'm gonna look forward to killing him, but I love Upper 10.
Cool.
Make it Upper 10 is the best Upper 10.
Mark, what roses did you have from tonight's game?
I thought that your NPCs were spot on tonight. Really enjoyed interacting with them. And I'm really happy with how Jason has cross-class into Skinner.
It is a neat combo.
Yeah, I really like it.
Battle Skinner Babe.
And I really enjoyed being in Oasis. So thanks for creating that, John. Worked really well for me.
Yeah, definitely. Good kudos there. That's on. Thank you, Mark. John, what roses did you have?
Well, okay. We'll start with Jason. Same thing my wife mentioned, but I guffawed. So guffawed, however you want to pronounce it. My wife will tell me later. But when you said
is right.
when you said bitch, I fucking laughed. That was the time. Your comedic timing
Yes.
was so on point. Just amazeballs way to start the whole game on a high note.
I agree.
A great bit of characterization. And with characterization, then we go to Rich with the man we all love to hate. Man, I love to hate him. Oh my God, I hate you for creating him.
He's seriously one of the best like antagonists in a game I've played.
Because, you know, he's just like not slimy enough. Like, he seems like he's almost like, no, I'm being the paranoid one, preparing to cut his throat in the middle of the night.
No.
But then he's like, yeah, no. You should be planning to cut my throat in the middle of the night. And it's just always on that edge. Like, am I being the bad guy? No, I need to kill this guy right now. Don't wait around. What am I doing? But then I end up giving him another chance. He's great. I mean, that's a great, I don't know, it just plays really well for me. And normally I'm just like, yeah, let's get it on. So, like, okay, you're down in the gate. Everybody shoots. Yay! That's how the game goes. I like that plan better. But yeah. So, and Mark, for showing the little seeds of your grand plan. I'm enjoying that. The seeds, by the way, is the hints of my grand plan, but we might never get to that because I might be dead in my sleep soon. But yeah, I really like to see the plan to civilize the world that you're hinting at, the fight against the Windies and their fresh, never frozen beef.
Fresh frozen beef. That's great. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Jason.
So I always felt like I was only allowed to have one rose, but apparently I can have a lot. And
Well,
that's great.
my wife.
Well, earlier on I said the preemptive rose for the conversation Hound and Rollo had in the elevator going down. I really loved that. I loved finding out more about Oasis. But I think my top, actually, and I also want to say I really enjoyed the intimacy scene that Greg had, because quite often intimacy equals sex within these games, and I like when that is not the case. But
to be clear, we had sex.
Yeah, I know, but the intimacy wasn't connected to the sex.
Okay, all right.
The intimacy was connected to the relationship. So, but aside from that, at the beginning of the night, Mark had us all talk about something that we were happy about at the moment, and I thought that was actually really important. It's 8:00 on a Friday night. I'm maybe not at my best. I've been looking forward to it, but it's been a rough week, and starting with what's good made a big difference. Even going into the world that is Apocalypse World, I thought that was a really great way to start the game.
Hear, hear.
Excellent point.
Yeah. And now I want to start all my games 15 minutes early so that I can make people do that. Then we'll run into game. Mark, that was good. That was a really cool thing. I also had a long week, and this pleased me. I came in worried that I felt low energy, and that was a great pick-me-up. And you guys, of course, by playing, pick me up even more. Looking forward to next session as we start rolling towards bringing this thing to a close. I'm very excited about how this mini series that we've been playing will come out. We'll start off with a big fight, and then we'll roll forward into other stuff. Thank you all so much for playing, and hope you have a good rest of your weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.